New Zealand designated Hamas a terrorist organisation in February 2024, and Hamas remains in control of significant Palestinian territory as the de facto government of the Gaza Strip. And it continues to hold Israeli hostages, reject Israel's right to exist, renounce terrorism, or agree to disarm. We cannot recognise a state where terrorists play a role in its government. And as we've seen, even with the CNN interview last night, Hamas refuses to take any responsibility for October the 7th. However, it remains New Zealand's position that recognition of Palestinian statehood is a question of when, not if. But with a war raging, Hamas remaining the de facto government of Gaza, and no clarity on next steps, now is not the time. New Zealand is neither pro-Palestine nor pro-Israel. We're friends with both, and we are pro-peace. And true peace starts with a ceasefire, and that's the only way to end all of this suffering. We want to see two states, Israel and Palestine, living in peace and security, and that will only happen through negotiation, dialogue, diplomacy, and leadership. Well, there are New Zealanders, I agree, that will be disappointed by this decision, but equally there are New Zealanders that support this decision. And there are strongly held feelings and views on all sides of this debate. For Hamas, they are being emboldened by recognition, and equally Israel is being frustrated by recognition. And both are actually being very intransigent, and we're not actually getting closer to solving the problem around ceasefire. So, I get there'll be different views on recognition, I understand that. But our focus is actually on ceasefire, and that's what we've been talking about. That's why we've signed up to 80 ministerial statements in the almost 2 years of this conflict. That's why we keep joining with other countries and calling those things out. That's why we're holding Israel to account and saying, you have to stop, the illegal settlements. You have to make sure we pull back on military action. You've got to protect civilians. You've got to have unimpeded humanitarian aid in there. But equally, Hamas needs to release hostages. 1,200 innocent people were killed, the biggest massacre that Israel's ever seen. 251 people were taken hostages. 48 people are still there today, maybe 20 alive. So, there is fault at both ends here, and we've had a very balanced approach through it. I appreciate there's strong views either side, but, we as a government have to have a balanced approach.